What's up, everyone? I'm Lars. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. I told you guys I wanted to do this because, you know, I don't really listen to albums, but this might make me listen to albums when I review them. Yes, I'm going to do an album review today. This might become a new series, just like every series on this channel. It's possible. For this first one, I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite albums by one of my favorite bands. I've talked about this before, but I haven't gotten in-depth. Yes, this is The Wall by Pink Floyd. This is their 11th studio album. It was released in 1979. So, you know, I'll just go through it and, you know, just talk about, you know, the story and talk about the songs that I like, why I like those songs, and, you know, if I recommend it. So, alright, let's just give some background information. Now, a lot of people know this. A lot of people know this album is, you know, it's very successful. This is a concept album, so it's got a story. And the story of this album is of Pink, a character that the bass player Roger Waters modeled after himself, and Syd Barrett, who was the original singer, who, you know, went insane. Everybody knows that story. So, this follows the, kind of the downfall of this character Pink's mental state, you know. It begins with, how his father died in World War II, and, he was abused by his school teachers, his mom was overprotective, his marriage fell apart, and throughout the album he builds a wall, like, you know, a metaphorical wall, like, around himself. So, this is all about that. Every song is him just slowly losing his mind. So, this was a 2-disc album. The discs aren't in it because they're in the car for road trips, you know. But yeah, 2-disc album. Here's the little song booklet right here. So, you know, I'll just go through some songs I like. Everyone knows the song Another Brick in the Wall. It's like one of the most popular songs. It's on the radio all the time. There's 3 parts to it. The first part talks about how Pink's father died in World War II. You know, the lyrics. And then, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2 talks about the abuse from the school teachers. And then right after that is one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite guitar solos. Dude, the guitar solos by Pink Floyd, David Gilmour, they're always great. Like, David Gilmour is one of my favorite guitar players, alright? He always plays with emotion, like with soul, and he doesn't shred. Like, he doesn't need to play fast to convey emotion, which I think that's great. So, the song is Mother, where it talks about Pink's overbearing mother. I liked Young Lust. I remember liking that one. And then another one that I really like is One of My Turns, because there's all these sound effects going on. Pink Floyd does that a lot. They always have, like, shit going on in the background, like, a lot of screams. There's always somebody screaming in Pink Floyd. There's, like, shit crashing around. It's great. Like, this is art. Now, right after One of My Turns is Don't Leave Me Now, which is Pink's wife leaving him, you know, the decline of his marriage, and all of this stuff happening to him is causing him to build this wall around himself and close himself off from society. Then we have Another Brick in the Wall Part 3, where he talks about the wall specifically. By the way, I hope you realize that I'm not talking about all the tracks, because then this video would be like 20 minutes long, and look, people have reviewed this album a lot, so I'm talking about the ones that I like, you know, just, I'll put the track list in the description. Okay, so, on disc 2, it starts with Hey You, which is probably my favorite Pink Floyd song. One of my favorite guitar solos. Again, I want to do this song with my band. This is great, like, holy shit, dude, this is all about, you know, again, about how he's behind the wall and how he's, like, looking out into the world beyond the wall. So then, there's some songs about how Pink reaches success. He becomes a famous rock star, and, it talks about what he looks like, and you can see that his character is based on Syd Barrett because, talks about how He's got wild staring eyes and the obligatory Hendrix perm. So he's definitely based on Sid. And then, later on, we have another one of my favorite Floyd songs, another one of my favorite Floyd guitar solos, Comfortably Numb. This is about how, you know, in order for Pink to be able to go on stage, he has to be medicated by a doctor so he doesn't, you know, lose it. But he does end up losing it when he becomes a neo-Nazi, because in a song pretty soon is In the Flesh, which, by the way, the album started with a song called In the Flesh, but it was with a question mark. But then later on, In the Flesh doesn't have a question mark. And so that's when he, you know, he thinks that he's a dictator. He has like a psychotic break on stage, and that's really the best way to describe it. He turns into a neo-Nazi. And then after that, the song Run Like Hell, which I've heard described as one of their more upbeat songs, because, you know, Pink Floyd and how uplifting they are all the time with their songs about death and insanity. Pink is running away from the show. And then later on, you know, he's waiting for the authorities to take him away, which is metaphorical. There's a lot of metaphors on this album. One of my favorite songs is the second to last, The Trial. This is the metaphorical trial of Pink, his crime being showing feelings of an almost human nature. And, you know, it's a really cool song. It's like, got this, like, creepy, like, atmospheric stuff going on. Dude, this is a cool album, alright? I know I've said that a lot. Like, alright. Then at the end, he's sentenced to tear down the wall, so he has to expose himself to everyone. And, that's the ending song, Outside the Wall. So, he's lost his mind. He had to tear down the wall. He had to, you know, show himself who he really is. And I think that this album is fucking great. Do I recommend it? Definitely. If you like, you know, classic rock, I've heard some people describe Pink Floyd as progressive rock. I don't think they are, but, you know, they're like pre-progressive rock. Proto-prog, yeah. It's a pretentious genre name. The whole genre. Alright. Yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, definitely listen to this album. I'm sure everyone's heard of this. This is a very popular. So, that was the album review of Pink Floyd's The Wall. Great album. So, if you'd like to see more album reviews, definitely tell me in the comments, you know, because I've got other albums to review, and maybe I'll listen to some new ones. Maybe you can leave me some recommendations. Alright. So, there you go. Till next time, stay metal.